Good evening, Ananda. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health. Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat at 2047 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start also, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
So with the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating and commemorating International Day of Light on 16th May every year on the anniversary of the first successful laser surgery in 1960 by physicist and engineer Theodore Maiman. The study of light has led to promising alternative energy sources, life-saving medical advances in diagnostics technology and treatments. Light speed, internet, and many other discoveries have been revolutionized society and shaped our understanding of the universe. On this day, UNESCO calls to strengthen scientific cooperations and harness its potential to foster peace and sustainable development. So, on occasion of International Day of Light 2025, and to celebrate the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology and the International Day of Light, UNESCO and partners are launching a global call for visual works inspired by the intersection of light and quantum science. So you can participate by sharing your artwork based on the theme, and you can win exciting prizes and a participation certificate. So without light, our planet would be but a cold and barren place. Indeed, where there is light, there is often an abundance of life. Yet light represents even more for humanity. Light goes hand in hand with knowledge. It is a lens through which to see and understand the world. The science and technology of the light play an important role in the development and positive evolution of societies and are essential for maintaining our expanding connectivity to one another. Photonics provides practical and cost-effective solutions to meet global challenges in energy production, sustainable development, and healthcare, and align well with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to end poverty, fight inequality and injustice, and take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Photonics connects the citizens to the world through the internet and communication networks and is a vital enabler for business and education. These networks also support accountability to ensure peace and shorter legal institutions. Optical technologies play a key role in medicine, from simple diagnostic and monitoring to advanced treatment options and research. So, remote sensing technologies promote the development of sustainable agriculture to fight hunger and to protect life on land and in rivers, lakes, and oceans. Modern lighting provides important opportunities to improve quality of life with efficient and green solutions, and light-based technologies are crucial and critical for monitoring and predicting climate change. The UN Sustainable Development Goals are an intergovernmental set of goals and targets developed by the nations that cover a broad range of sustainable development issues. Light-based technologies can make a fundamental contribution to help accomplish these goals. Communicating these messages is a key component of the International Day of Light and following 17 Sustainable Development Goals. As we see, the food and agriculture sector is essential to sustainable development, indeed ending hunger, ensuring food security, and promoting sustainable development and sustainable agriculture, which are key objectives of the Sustainable Development Goal targets. In many developing countries, agriculture is also the backbone of the economy and is a key for long-term and inclusive growth due to its strong multiplier impact on other sectors. Good health and well-being are also fundamental for the development of society. Light-based technologies can play an important role in improving agriculture and farming through the areas of agri-photonics. Lasers and imaging sensors on planes can be used to map soils and crop density and reflectance. Data from vegetation can be used to determine very specific information, such as amount of nitrogen present in plants. Lasers and telescopes can be used to monitor evaporation and guide decisions on irrigation, and with appropriate lighting, vegetables and fruits can be grown indoors, outdoors of the normal season, opening up possibilities for the year-round crop cultivation, even in inhospitable regions. Optical technologies play a key role in medicine, from simple diagnostics and monitoring to advanced treatment options and research. Photonics appears in very simple and widespread devices. Clip-on pulse oximeters use the transmission of light from the LED through a finger to measure oxygen saturation and heart rate, and skin thermometers use infrared light detectors to provide a safe and reliable measurement of body temperature. Imaging and surgery have been revolutionized with the use of endoscopy and laparoscopy, and light-based technologies and lasers find important issues in many medical procedures, including neurosurgery, dermatology, dentistry, vision correction, heart surgery, and reconstructive procedures. Many light-based therapies have also proven effective for detecting and treating cancer. One example of light-based technique to treat cancer is photodynamic therapy, where a patient is given a non-toxic photosensitive drug that is absorbed by the cancer cells during surgery. A light beam is positioned at the tumor site, which then activates the drug to become toxic to targeted malignant cells. So recent years have seen dramatic strides in the field of telemedicine. In general, the use of telecommunication and information technologies to provide access to medical services that would often not be consistently available at a distance. The smartphone may well be showing the way towards the democratization of healthcare in developing countries. Another important issue faced around the world is that worldwide estimates of those who suffer from uncorrected defective eyesight range from the hundreds of millions to over a billions of adults and children Far more than just an inconvenience, the worldwide lack of eyeglasses to correct vision prohibits people from working and taking care of their families and has a negative effect on children's schooling and study. A number of NGOs and industries are actively working to complementary approaches to solve these problems. One approach uses fluid filled lenses where a user can self adjust the eyeglasses, allowing a very convenient way to select appropriate correction. Another idea uses low cost prefabricated lenses and a compact bending machine to create frames from spring steel. The approach can be encouraged to the establishment of sustainable businesses producing selling these glasses in local communities. In addition to the light-based technologies to improve educational infrastructure, light science is an ideal subject to stimulate interest in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects in a classroom context. Teaching material based on light and optics is widely available and can be inexpensive and is perfectly suited to inquiry-based or active learning strategies, which encourage students to construct the knowledge from their own observations. This is in contrast to the normal classroom scenario in which the teacher lectures and the student passively observes as much information as they can, which by itself is known to be inadequate in developing correct conceptual understanding of the underlying physics. One of the major issues of society is to achieve gender equality. In particular, there is a major concern in the scientific community, regardless of geographical location, to improve the gender based balanced representation of scientists at all levels and promote greater involvement of science report towards 2030, which presents a picture of the trends of popular global research and development. Based on a wealth of qualitative and quantitative data for the past 5 years, women constitute a minority in the research world globally, while women achieve partly at early stage of scientific careers. Their participation diminishes with career progression, such that women represent only 28.4% of the world's active researchers, and there are also very significant national and regional differences, with women playing nearly no role at all in science in some countries. The photonics community have tried to raise awareness of the issue at different levels, comprising initiatives trying to attract more female students to STEM careers, exhibitions to highlight the important role that female scientists have on the development of photonics, technologies, and awards for early career scientists in the field of photonics to give visibility to their achievements. The importance of communications for development is stressed by the UN Broadband Commission for Digital Development, who have recently started or stated how access to mobile devices, phones, tablets, and e-readers with broadband internet connectivity can bring quality education to people everywhere, especially in the world's poorest of most isolated communities. Although it is a technology such as fiber to the home FTTH that is being emphasized in many developed countries, it is mobile broadband that is perceived as the most practical solution for many developing countries. The International Telecommunication Union, ITU, reports that mobile broadband is the fastest growing technology in the history. Mobile phone subscriptions now exceed the world's total population, and the active mobile broadband subscription exceed 2.1 billion significantly. Most of the progress has taken place in developing countries, which account for 82% of the net additions of the new internet users globally. And in the last 5 years, the UN Broadband Commission and the ITU are pushing hard to ensure that mobile broadband can fulfill its potential to improve education and development. So, water is essential to human health. Despite impressive gains made over the last decades, millions and millions worldwide still suffer from health problems due to lack of clean water. Although much progress has been made in the use of conventional treatment process, there is a continuous need for the development of new and complementary technologies to produce high quality water. Especially in developing countries, photonics technologies can significantly help this regard by improving both water quality assessment and access to clean sources of water. For instance, low cost water treatment systems powered by solar panels can decompose organic pollutants in water, and solar powered well pumping has proven to be a sustainable low cost solution to provide drinking water and irrigation water in off grid locations in drought prone regions. Research is also ongoing into the development of LED based portable systems for use of point of use purification. When one thinks of harnessing light based technologies for sustainable development, renewable energy through solar power would likely be the first thing that came to mind for most people. After all, many developing countries have abundant solar energy resources. Insolation and this use of solar energy is ideally suited to providing an off-grid resource therapy supply, energy supply, as a sustainable development alternative to the diesel generators, which would otherwise be used. There remain many challenges to address, but research is advancing rapidly and in the underlying physics and material science. The development of storage technologies and in optimizing and comparing the technologies of photovoltaics and solar thermal collection. Closely coupled to the availability of energy is availability of lighting. With no reliable source of light, many people in developing countries depend on kerosene lamps for light, which have been estimated to lead to the death of over 1 million people every year. So, providing clean, efficient forms of lighting to developing communities is only important for health reasons. It is also vital for productivity. Families in rural communities rely on the work to provide for the most basic needs of their family. But working hours can be limited to scarce lighting after sunset, and the majority of children in developing countries are also expected to work during the day to provide for their family with no or inadequate light at night. Children are deprived of an education, although longer term solutions will require clear policies on renewable energy at a regional level. Many industries and NGOs and other associations are working on the ground to promote the use of portable solar powered high brightness LED lanterns in regions where there is little or no other reliable source of light. So, developing countries are at the front line of human induced climate change over the next century, according to the IPCC Fifth Assessment Report. Throughout the 20th, 21st century, climate change is expected to lead to increases to ill health in many regions, and especially in developing countries with low income. Rural areas are expected to experience major impacts on water availability and supply, food security, infrastructure, and agricultural incomes, including shifts in the production areas of food, non food crops around the world. Light based techniques are critical for monitoring and predicting the consequences of climate change. They are extremely used to map radiation emitted from the Earth's surface using radiometers, scanners, and sensors placed in satellite orbiting our planet. These measurements are transmitted to ground stations where the data is covered to images that provide information on ocean currents for global carbon dioxide distribution. There is also commemorated as International Day of Living in Peace. on 16th May every year, united in differences and diversity in a world where conflicts are multiplying and polarizing ideas. As much as societies, this day reminds us that it is precisely when this horizon of peace seems distant that we must relentlessly build this ideal of concord and social cohesion, as quoted by Audrey Azoulay, UNESCO's Director General. Living together in peace is all about accepting differences and having the ability to listen, to recognize, respect, and appropriate others, as well as living in a peaceful and united way. The UN General Assembly, in its Resolution 72 by 130, declared 16th May the International Day of Living Together in Peace as a means of regularly mobilizing the efforts of the international community to promote peace, tolerance, inclusion, understanding, and solidarity. The day aims to uphold the desire to live and act together, united in differences and diversity, in order to build a sustainable world of peace, solidarity, and harmony. The day invites countries to further promote reconciliation to help to ensure peace and sustainable development, including by working with communities, faith leaders, and other relevant actors through reconciliatory measures and acts of service, and by encouraging forgiveness and compassion among individuals. So, following the devastation of the Second World War, and the United Nations was established to save succeeding generations from this scourge of war. One of its purposes is to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems, including by promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedom for all without discrimination as to race, sex, language, or religion. In 1997, the General Assembly proclaimed by its Resolution 52 by 50 the year 2000 as International Year for a Culture of Peace. In 1998, it proclaimed the period 2001 to 2010 as the International Decade for a Culture of Peace and Non-Violence for Children of the World. In 1999, the General Assembly adopted by Resolution 53 by 243 the Declaration and the Program of Action and Culture of Peace, which serves as a universal mandate for the international community, particularly the United Nations system, to promote a culture of peace and non-violence that benefits all of humanity, including future generations. The declaration came about as a result of the long held and cherished concept contained within the Constitution of UNESCO that since wars began in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defense of peace must be constructed. The declaration embraces of the principle that peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but also requires a positive, dynamic, participatory process in which dialogue is encouraged and conflicts are resolved in a spirit of mutual understanding and cooperation. The declaration also recognizes that to fulfill such an aspiration, there is a need to eliminate all forms of discrimination and intolerance, including those based on race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national, ethnic, or social origin, property, disability, birth, or other status. This week is also commemorated as National Law Week in Australia, which is an annual event conducted in Australia from May 16 to May 22 to increase public knowledge of the law and its role in society. Every year, the Law Society and its partners host a variety of events in Canberra to celebrate and engage the local legal profession, and as well as to educate the general public on the function of attorneys in our society. It is intended to assist Australians in understanding their rights, locating answers to their queries, learning about accessible resources, and understanding how the legal system operates. So running a Law Week activity is a terrific opportunity to interact with your community while also providing essential, accessible knowledge. Although no history of the first National Law Week has been discovered yet, lawyers originally settled in Canberra in the late 1920s and 1933, when the economy recovered from the Great Depression. A small group of Canberra lawyers founded the Law Society of the Territory for the seat of the colony. In 1940, the name was changed to the Law Society of the Australian Capital Territory, following a modest the post-World War II years were time of rapid development, particularly in the 1960s, with expedited move of the Commonwealth Public Service to Canberra. With the expansion of the population and therefore the profession, arose the necessity of a sophisticated regulatory framework akin to the neighboring state of the New South Wales. The Commonwealth government passed the Act Legal Practitioners Ordinance in 1970, which has been known as the Legal Practitioners Act since local self-government. The Act granted the society brand authority to govern the legal profession in the territory. With Law Society and its partners, they launched National Law Week in almost all the Australian region. National Law Week is a national campaign to raise public knowledge and understanding of the law, the legal system, and the legal profession. Courts, legal organizations, solicitors, barristers, police, and of course, public libraries are all urged to participate. It's a fantastic chance for you to spread the knowledge, spread the word about find legal awareness, resources, and services in your neighborhood. There is also commemorated as Bike to School Day in US. Introduce the kids in your life to the joys of biking. This Bike to School Day, held on the third Friday in May each year, people come together to celebrate a healthier lifestyle and get a little exercise before class. This event builds up the excitement of National Bike Month and the popularity of International Walk to School Day. Bikes have been around for a long time, since 1800s in one version or the other. Early interventions came from France, but the modern bicycle was designed in England. Today, globally, there are twice as many bicycles as automobiles. Bicycles also outsell automobiles 3 to 1. Bike paths that have been constructed across many places in the US, and the government encourages bikes as an alternative to automobiles. There are very first National Bike to School Day that took place in coordination with the National Bike Month on May 9, 2012. And 49 states held at local events that encourage children to bike or walk to school safe. There is also commemorating as Drawing Day in US, which is celebrated on May 16th, and the best way to celebrate it is by expressing yourself through drawing just about anything you like. Even cavemen who hadn't yet learned to talk, drew hunting scenes on cave walls. Today we have so many modern tools to help you create extremely realistic and artistic drawings, such as plain sketchbook and pencil, or a tablet and stylus. The earliest drawings have been recorded since around 10,000 BC. These drawings were carvings that were discovered in ancient caves in Europe in around 3000 BC. Ancient Egyptians made drawings on their temples and that featured scenes from their daily lives. Even the written transcripts of the era had similar illustrations that were drawn with ink. Similarly, the Greeks drew intricate figures and patterns on clay vases. Before paper had been invented, people used animal skins and wooden planks to write, draw, and paint on. During the 1400s, drawings played an eminent role in religious books which featured miniature drawings that were hand drawn with gold and ink. Later, contemporary drawing styles started becoming popular in Europe as paper had become readily available everywhere. Renaissance artists became famous and the ink was favorite medium. Other mediums like colored chalks and charcoal were also used to add shading and bring out textures in their drawings. Today is also commemorated as General Prayer Day in Denmark, which is observed on fourth Friday after Easter in Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands that falls on May 16th, introduced by Danish Emperor King Christian V in 1686. This day honors minor saints in the spring and several other practices prevalent before the Reformation era. Bells are rung in every church. Students take a stroll on their campuses and various other rituals mark the celebration each year. Today is also commemorated as International Virtual Assistants Day that takes place every third Friday in May, which falls on May 16th this year. This day is all about expressing gratitude for all virtual assistants do. Often the unsung heroes in the workplace, virtual assistants provide clients with managerial, organizational, and personal assistant services, typically on a freelance basis. On Virtual Assistant Day, we recognize the dedication, tenacity, and hard work of virtual assistants around the world. One of the day's goals to raise professional knowledge of the benefits of unsung a virtual assistant. The efforts and hard work of virtual assistants are also recognized on this day. During the 1940s, the rise of virtual assistants began a long and complicated transformation, and we currently refer to the virtual assistant sector was born in the secretarial services industry. After the shorthand method was developed by Sir Isaac Pitman, secretarial work became alluring when religious conservatism still prohibited women from working in the office. Pitman launched the School for Secretarial Services, which admitted only men. With the introduction of the typewriter, women admittance into secretarial service was also made possible. By the 19th century, technology has evolved to the point that it enabled economic transactions even thousands of kilometers away. In 1996, the life coach Thomas Leonard and Anastasia Stacey Brace coined the term virtual assistants. Bryce embodied this new job market by working from home for an international client. She used the internet to deliver services and referred to herself as a virtual assistant, which became the definition of a growing and exciting career. So Christine Durst, a virtual assistant pioneer, published the second commute in 1995, describing it as a revolutionary way of working from home. Durst encouraged professionals to use the internet to follow their passions and earn a living. On this day, virtual assistants are recognized for their hard work and dedication to their profession. The Alliance for Virtual Business normally sponsors the event, which is conducted in conjunction with the Online Virtual Assistants Convention each year. The event is organized by the Alliance for Virtual Businesses, a group made of virtual business experts, and its primary goal is to raise awareness about the virtual assistant services among business owners and managers. There is also commemorated as NASCAR Day in US, the iconic car race that has been happening for several decades now, first starting in 1948 on Daytona Beach, located in Florida, US. The NASCAR event takes place for 10 months each year. Millions from all over the world tune in to watch the races. Companies and sponsors have also created and manufactured special collectibles for commercial sales. Seeing the popularity of the event, the NASCAR Foundation created NASCAR Day to help raise funds and awareness for the betterment of the children's lives all over the world. Today is also commemorated as National Bike to Work Day. As we are also commemorating National Bicycle to Work Day, today also is commemorated as National Bike to Work Day on third Friday of May. This day aims to incentivize us to switch our regular commute with bikes and be very thankful for it. Another key element is celebration is on emphasis of safety awareness for cyclists and other communities. Today is also commemorated as National Biographers Day in US. Every year on May 16 to commemorate a special event. It was first time Samuel Johnson, a famous poet, essayist, literary critic, editor, and lexicographer, and his biographer, James Boswell, met a biography is essential. A type of genre that features a written account of another person's life. Biographies has been around since the Roman Empire. In the mid 1700s, Samuel Johnson, a biographer himself, met his biographer James Boswell in London, England on May 16th. According to Johnson, the best biographers ate, drink, and maintain social relations with the person they were writing about. The meeting between Johnson and Boswell eventually led to the publishing of one of the most celebrated biographies in English literature. James Boswell research and narrative style set the standard for biographers, since this biography of Johnson was considered to be one of the best in the English language. However, it is said that biographies has been around for a long time before the meeting. They are written historically and is believed that one of the most first biographies was written during the Roman Empire. The genre of biography began to emerge in 1800s and reached its contemporary form at the turn of 1900s, while biographies went through a period of stagnation. Following this, autobiographies became more popular and even until today they have stayed relevant in the form of memoirs. Today is also commemorated as National Defense Transportation Day on May 16th in US. Commemorates the transportation services in the US. The day is a United States Federal Observance Day, but is not a public holiday as all businesses are open and running. Any society's infrastructure and operations depend heavily on its transportation sectors. Not only do the appropriate transportation services save time and money for the general population, but also provide better living standards for the entire country. The day aims to highlight the transportation sector's workers' dedication to their professions. There are several activities lined up during the day, from special recognition events to school contests. Today is also commemorated as National Do Something Good for Your Neighbor Day in US, which is celebrated on May 16th to express gratitude to those who are closer to us. In fact, a neighbor is not merely the person who lives closest to you, but can be anyone with whom you share a kinship. Therefore, your colleagues, friends, and fellow commuters also qualify as your neighbors. When we get too caught up in our busy lives, we forget how much fun it's to hang out with our neighbors and have a good chat with him. Today is also commemorated as National Honor Our LGBT Elders Day in US, a time to pay tribute to those who have paved the way for the LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community to obtain and continue to seek important legislation and rights. We have numerous elders to thank for the strides made over the last several decades towards equality. As with other civil rights movements, their work has not been easy. Their struggle and victories are marked by courage, persistence, passion, and authenticity. So today we celebrate them. Today is also commemorated as National Love a Tree Day in US, which is celebrated every year on May 16th, and it falls right in the middle of the Garden for Wildlife Month. Trees actually didn't exist for first 90% of the Earth's history. Before trees, our Earth had fungi that grew 26 feet tall and resembled trees. Trees have played an irreplaceable role in the smooth functioning of our environment and celebrated this special day dedicated to them. At least we can appreciate them. Trees can be thousands and thousands of years old, with many species tending to have long lifespans. In fact, trees can be traced back to the creation of the world according to the scriptures and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. From well preserved cellular anatomy, it has been found that the Blados Xylopsida, which were the first tree species of large trees to appear on Earth almost 400 million years ago in the Devonian period. The other earliest trees were known to be tree ferns, horsetails, and lycophytes, and currently it is estimated that there are close to 3 million mature trees in the world. Trees have so many benefits. They provide us with lumber, food, nuts, oxygen to breathe, home for wildlife, and much more. Trees are even used for ornamental and decoration purposes. In the United States itself, there is an opportunity 766 million acres of forest land. Trees form an essential part of our environment, and over the years, their importance has been taught to children growing up. Even in recent times, individuals have become so environmentally conscious that a sustainable lifestyle to protect our trees has become the norm. Most people now want to protect and preserve trees, which make the world a better place and safer place to live in. So trees form an essential part of environment, and over the years their importance have been taught to children growing up. Even in recent times, and individuals have become so environmentally conscious that the sustainable lifestyle to protect our trees has become the norm. Most people now want to protect and preserve our trees, which make the world a better and safe place to live in. While the hunt to find the origins of this day is still on, the entire day of appreciation for trees that has given us so much is at least we can do. Today is also commemorated as National Piercing Day in US. The art of piercings have existed for centuries and was not always used as a fashion statement. In fact, piercings have a different meaning for people belonging to varying cultures across the globe. That is why National Piercing Day was performed to bring history and importance of piercings and forefront, as well as to spread awareness regarding the numerous forms and styles of body piercings across the different cultural traditions. For example, piercings were an essential part of the Native American religion, where the act was performed during the Sundance ceremony to encourage powerful spiritual visions. Piercings are also said to have Ayurvedic benefits and were often done to cure ailments. It is also commemorated as National Sea Monkey Day in US on May 16th every year to celebrate these little creatures. Sea monkeys were created in the lab many years ago, but since they have become a common household pet, many of us have happy memories of awaiting of the delivery of first sea monkeys in the mail. They are really popular with children and adults alike. At one point, they were even heavily marketed by comic books. It was way back in 1957 when, during a visit to pet store, Harold von Braun became fascinated with a species of brine shrimp called Atmia salinina, which was being sold as pet food. So he later partnered up with marine biologist Dr. Anthony D. Agostino to bring the sea monkey to life. Together, they developed a proper mix of nutrients and chemicals in dry form that can be added to plain water to create an environment conducive to shrimp's growth. Sea monkeys were initially sold under the name of Instant Life and later given the name sea monkey, owing to the fact that they have a monkey tail like shape, making them resemble monkeys of the sea rather than shrimps. They were very popular pet from the 60s onwards, and they usually come within a special mini aquarium that was used to hatch them and for them to live and grow. These small creatures have gained much popularity over the years and even found a name in pop culture. They have been showcased in television shows including South Park, Simpsons, and Desperate Housewives. Today is also commemorated as Ride a Unicycle Day in US, which is celebrated on May 16th. It is a fun day meant to encourage more people to try the unicycle, an unconventional means of transportation. It is ground vehicle that moves using only one wheel. Unicycles are usually used professionally by performers in circuses or festivals. Unicycles are used in sports such as unicycle hockey. They are also used in activities similar to mountain biking or trails called mountain unicycling. Today is also commemorated as Shades Day on May 16th, which is observed annually in the UK on the closest Friday to International Day of Family, which occurs on May 15th this year. It will be celebrated on May 16th. This day was created by the Family Holiday Association, FHA, a charity that provides seaside breaks and day trips to families struggling with life's toughest challenges, such as bereavement, illness, mental health issues, and domestic violence. The charity receives no government funding, so the donations and fundraisers are its only source of income. On Shades Day, people are encouraged to take pictures of themselves wearing sunglasses and support the charity by donating money. Today is also commemorated as Waiters' Day in UK, which is celebrated to honor and uplift the hospitality industry workers of the United Kingdom. Just as the World Weight Organization originates from the noun wait, the profession is all about waiting for people and addressing all their needs. Fred Sirrex, the creator of the holiday, describes the day as a wonderful chance to promote the numerous career opportunities that the hospitality industry offers. National Waiters Day asks us to open our hearts and wallets to show our genuine appreciation for this grueling yet promising profession. Today is also commemorated as Walk Safely to School Day in Australia, that takes place on May 16th this year in Australia. It is a national event that involves primary school children being encouraged to walk to school safely. This day was established by the Pedestrian Council of Australia. Walk Safely to School Day was first held in New South Wales in 1999 and later became a national event in 2004. This day aims to develop exercise routines for children, promote increased initiative of nutrient-dense diets, and cause a positive environmental action by decreasing carbon emissions from driving to school. The key aim, however, is to familiarize young children with road safety rules. Today is also commemorated as Wear Purple for Peace Day in US, which is celebrated annually on May 16th. The day is not just an ordinary observance to promote peace, but it's also an ordinary practice to entice aliens to visit Earth due to its peaceful state. World peace is a state where people in all nations experience freedom, happiness, and peace within. No conflict, no violence, no war, and no fighting. World peace is worth fighting for, and we need to do is create peace within the relinquishing the negative emotions such as anger and nurturing the positive ones such as compassion. If we succeeded in establishing peace within ourselves, then peace will spread throughout the world. And when this happens, then world peace is gained. So the color purple is associated with royalty, nobility, and ambition, and it can also represent the spirituality, wisdom, and peace. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow. At the same time, with the same joining in with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.